You are listening to the Keep the Weight Off podcast with Dr. Angela
and Marchelle,
episode number 157.
Welcome to the Keep the Weight Off podcast, where we bust all the dieting myths and discover not just how to lose weight, but more importantly, how to keep it off. We go way beyond the food, and we use science and psychology to give you strategies that work. And now your host, Dr. Angela Zechmann.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast this week. How are things going, Marchelle?
Good. It's been a good weekend.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, the weather, I don't like to complain, but...
The weather just sucks. It's good movie weather.
It is.
That's what it is. Great weather for a movie.
We went to the movies this weekend. We did.
Yeah, good. Yay. Do you have any recommendations, just out of curiosity?
Well, we went and saw the new Bob Marley movie.
We just saw that. That was great. I loved it.
Wasn't it good?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Something to do. Now, did you notice when you went to the movie theater that it's all about the treats while you're eating, while you're sitting there? So don't get sucked into that, but do go and enjoy the movie.
Oh my gosh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's hard, but...
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really hard because you can smell it all around you. And, there's a lot of temptations there. You have to be strong.
You have to be really strong. And now at the place we went to, they had, what's the word I want, where they display candy right there while you're standing there waiting. It's not just, you don't wait until you get up to the cashier to see what you can potentially purchase. It's all right there. It's like at a grocery store,
Oh.
So they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job selling their junk. So don't fall for it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah?
Yeah. One thing that you can do, though, is you can bring your own snacks in there. So, you're not allowed to, I don't think, but I do anyway.
Yeah, I know. I do too.
And I just bring some healthier snacks because it just makes things easier that way.
Good job. I love it. All right. Well, let's move into today's topic. And it's an interesting topic, and that is pizza. So what made me think of this topic?
Yeah, I like this topic.
So my boyfriend is trying to lose weight, and he's decided that once he hits his goal weight, now, I don't really think that trying to reach goal weights is a good idea because I am constantly preaching that the weight on the scale does not tell you anything about your health. It just tells you all about gravity. You know that. Anybody who's been listening to our podcast for a while knows that. But anyway, he's got a goal weight. And when he hits his goal weight, he's going to treat himself to pizza at his favorite Seattle pizza joint. So, I have to laugh at this because I never recommend rewarding yourself with food for any reason. That's emotional eating, right? But I also don't recommend telling other adults how to live their life. So we just have a good laugh over this one. And so he told me, it was just interesting. He said for him, pizza is what he calls momentum food. So it has its own momentum. And the more he eats, the more he wants. He never gets satisfied. Remember how Dr. Ashley Gearhart was talking about how usually with foods that are not addictive, like you eat a certain amount and then you're done.
Yeah.
Right?
She did say something about that.
She did. So this is not one of those foods. This is a momentum food. The more you eat, the more you want. And in the past, this particular food has really been a serious problem for him. And then all of this is going on in the background of my life. And then I was talking with a patient in the clinic the other day, and she was telling me how proud she was and surprised she was because for the first time, she felt satisfied with just one piece of pizza. And that in the past, she would have had at least 3 pieces of pizza before she even came close to feeling satisfied. And so that got me thinking, what is it about pizza in particular that is so pleasurable and sets people up for addictive-like behavior? Because the truth is that studies show that pizza actually is very addictive. And some research has called it the most addictive food. Of course, there are other foods that can be addictive too, like chocolate or ice cream or cookies or chips or French fries, but pizza ranks right up there. So do you have any thoughts about this?
These are all triggering words.
I know.
These are all triggering words for me.
I know. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry. I don't mean to trigger you. I just want us to understand our brains better.
Definitely. This is an interesting topic. I'd like to know more about this.
Yeah. Well, I don't respond to pizza like this, and I never have. But I want our listeners to know that if you do respond like this, you're certainly not alone. Okay. So I actually looked it up. Here are the reasons why pizza in particular can be so highly pleasurable and even addictive. These reasons are both physiological, which means that they're based in the chemistry of the body, and they're psychological, which means that they have to do with like human psychology and psychological development. Okay. So are you ready? I've got 6 reasons here.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. Yep.
Okay. Reason number 1 is called palatability, high palatability. And what that means is basically it tastes really good. That's what that means. So pizza contains a combination of ingredients like cheese and tomato sauce and various toppings that are really rich in salt, sugar, and fat. Michael Moss, who is a journalist, wrote a book called Salt, Sugar, Fat, in which he interviewed food scientists. And he explains that the food industry has really zeroed in on this combination of salt, sugar, and fat because it triggers an intense reward activation in the pleasure centers of the brain. So the food industry has even named this phenomenon, and they call it triggering the brain's bliss point. So pizza is a bliss point food. It contains all of these elements of salt, fat, sugar in the tomato sauce, fat in the cheese, flour in the crust, that gets turned into sugar. And all of this activates the reward center. So we end up with cravings and a desire to eat way more than we actually need. A really, really great momentum food. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So high palatability is reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that pizza has carbs in the dough, carbohydrates, right? So in other words, the flour instantly gets turned into sugar by the digestive enzymes, and then it gets absorbed into the bloodstream really quickly, and this triggers pleasure and causes a spike in blood sugar levels. What then happens is this temporary feeling of increased energy when your blood sugar goes up and a feeling of like happiness and well-being, similar to what happens with other carb-rich foods, right? Of course, the happiness is really short-acting, but it's still something our brains are going to seek out. Does that make sense?
This is really interesting. I've never thought about pizza like this.
Yeah, I got more. Here is the 3rd reason why pizza is so addictive. It's the cheese, okay? So this is interesting. Cheese contains casein. I think that's how you pronounce it, casein, which breaks down into casomorphins in the body. So caso is cheese, morphins. You know what morphine is?
Yeah, like an opioid. Yeah.
Exactly. So casomorphins can bind to the opioid receptors in the brain, and that will relieve pain and bring pleasure, similar to the effects of other opiates like heroin and morphine. So now, compared to actual narcotics, this reaction's pretty mild. But think about combining it with all the other ingredients in pizza. This really can contribute to the addictive nature of pizza. So in my experience, there are many people who really, really love cheese. And I think it's because their brain really responds to the casomorphins in cheese. That's a hard word to say.
Yeah, this is so interesting, but I'm never going to look at pizza the same way.
I know. Like, it's toxic and it's addictive. Okay, here's reason number 4 for why pizza can be addictive. It's convenient and it's widely accessible. So think about this. In the US, at least, and I think probably most other Western cultures, pizza is everywhere. It's inexpensive. It's convenient. You can order it from a restaurant, pick it up from a store, heat it up at home. You don't necessarily need silverware to eat it. It's just easy, right? And remember that our primitive brains love ease because then we can save energy. And that's always a good thing as far as the primitive brain is concerned. And because it's so easy, we're more likely to eat it regularly. And this can lead to habit-forming behavior. So I remember really clearly all those years ago when I was a busy working mom, how easy it was to just feed the family after a long day of work by just heating up a couple of frozen pizzas. I knew it wasn't the best nutrition. Even back then, I knew it, but it certainly filled up our hungry stomachs and everyone loved it. And as far as I was concerned at the time, that's a win, right? So it was like busy working mom, pizza to the rescue, right? Did you ever do that, Marchelle?
Yeah, this all sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, of course, nowadays you can have it delivered as quickly as you can heat it up yourself. So that makes it even easier, right? Just DoorDash it or Uber Eats it or whatever. So now, please don't think I'm suggesting you do this. I'm just saying this is why it's so addictive. Okay. All right. You ready for the fifth reason?
Yeah.
Okay. So, reason number 5 for why pizza is so addictive, social factors. So, I want you to think about this. Pizza is often associated with social gatherings, parties, events. You're relaxed and you're having fun. I remember ordering pizza all the time for my kids' birthday parties. Lots of people have pizza for parties and events. It's easy and everyone loves it, right? So, this social aspect can create positive associations in our brains. So, in other words, pizza means happy times. And this really reinforces its appeal and makes it all the more pleasurable and addictive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, pizza is definitely a party food.
Yeah. Well, and I have heard of teachers like rewarding students for, say, a semester of really good grades or really good behavior. Like we'll have a pizza party at the end of the school year or something like that.
Yeah, we used to have pizza parties growing up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if we sold like the most whatever we were selling, books or whatever growing up, we would have pizza parties and everybody was so excited about it.
So social reasons, that can be a big, when you associate it with a pleasurable activity and a reward like that, that makes it more addictive. Here's my last reason why pizza can be such a trigger food for people. And that is like Pavlov's dogs. You've heard of the Pavlov's experiment with his dogs where he rang a bell and then he fed them. And after a while, all he had to do was ring the bell and they'd start salivating and they'd be expecting stuff. So we develop a conditioned response to pizza, especially since for many of us, we start eating pizza when we're really young, like 3 or 4 years old in many cases. Like we experience repeated exposure to pizza, lots of positive reinforcement, and then we develop a conditioned response to pizza, associating it with feelings of pleasure and fun. So pizza is very rewarding, and this conditioning can lead to cravings and a desire to really consume a lot of it and consume it frequently. And it's so interesting to me because my boyfriend has been talking about getting this special pizza for months. And he's trying to lose weight and he's depriving himself. And it's obvious to me that for him, this is really, really, really rewarding, right? Now, for me, I would much rather treat myself to a massage if I reached an important goal or wanted to celebrate. Like a massage to me is much more pleasurable than pizza, and the pleasure lasts longer and there are no nasty side effects. What do you think of that?
That's a good idea.
Are you there, Marchelle? You're not saying much.
I know. I feel a little called out right now because our son, the one that lives with us actually works at a pizza parlor.
Oh, yeah.
So all these things that we're talking about, it's kind of bringing some things to light. And so I'm just kind of thinking about all this stuff. It's sort of ruminating in the back of my head. So that's why I'm kind of being quiet.
Oh, it's all ruminating. Okay. That makes sense. So the good news is you're not alone, right? Like so many people have these addictive responses to this particular food. So
right.
I want to summarize why it is that pizza is so addictive. It's the combination of its taste, the salt, the sugar, the fat, the texture. It's the fact that it's very accessible and easy. And we've already been conditioned to associate it with parties and pleasure and relaxation and rewards. So the next time that you notice a craving, see if you can figure out for yourself just what it is that's so appealing and see if you can find a way to reward yourself in a way that's not going to damage your health. And for the record, I love a great massage.
For the record, I do too.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be better than pizza? Anytime.
Better for you, at least.
Yeah, it will get rid of stress hormones, massages. So that will be really helpful on your weight loss journey to get rid of stress hormones.
That's a good idea.
Do you have anything you want to add?
No, not today. No, this was really interesting. I've never looked at pizza like this, and I probably will never look at it the same again. So thanks for that.
Highly addictive, highly toxic, like not a good thing to give kids, not a good way to reward kids, not a good thing to have at kids' birthday parties, like just not good in general if you want to have a normal, healthy relationship with food. But who has a normal, healthy relationship with food in our country anyway, right?
Right.
So just be aware, this is not a food that you could ever really have a healthy relationship with because it's going to affect the chemistry of your brain, okay? So, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right, everyone, that's what we have for you this week. Remember, if you want in-depth help on your weight loss journey, we're here for you in the Empowered Weight Loss membership. Just head over to journeybeyondweightloss.com/yes to get started in the membership, and we'll see you on the inside. Take care and have a great week. Bye.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, if you really want to lose weight and keep it off for good, your next step is to sign up for Dr. Angela's free weight loss course, where you're going to learn everything you need to get started on your weight loss journey the right way. Just head over to journeybeyondweightloss.com/free course to sign up. Also, it would be awesome if you could take a few moments and write a review on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you in Journey Beyond Weight Loss.